Upbeat, adventurous music starts. Quick cuts of a lush, green, misty rainforest. The shot pulls back to reveal this is all inside a massive, custom-built glass structure attached to a modern house. You, the host, are standing in front of it, grinning. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am Dr. Barrington Wilson. If you're new here, we do things a little differently. We don't just dream about crazy ideas. We build them. And a few months ago, I had what might be the craziest idea of my entire life. I was on a trip, deep in a tropical rainforest, and I had this overwhelming feeling of peace. The sound of the rain on the leaves, the incredible humidity in the air, the sheer density of life everywhere you look. It was magic. And as I was boarding the plane home, I felt this genuine sadness to be leaving it all behind. And that's when the thought hit me. What if I didn't have to leave it behind? What if I could bring a piece of it home? Not just a houseplant. Not a little terrarium. I'm talking about the real deal. A functioning, self-sustaining slice of the actual rainforest. So, I did it. I bought an actual rainforest. Well, a section of one, through a conservation land trust. And then I hired a team of absolute maniacs, biologists, engineers, architects, and we built it. Right here. Attached to my house. This is the biodome. And for the last 6 months, I've been living with it. This is the story of what happened. Music swells and then fades into the ambient sounds of the rainforest. A title card appears briefly, 6 months ago. So, let's rewind. The first step was, obviously, the legal and ethical part. I didn't just go to the Amazon with a shovel and a truck. I worked with an organization that protects threatened rainforest land. By buying a section, I was essentially funding the permanent protection of a much larger area. So, the real rainforest is still there, thriving, doing its planet-saving thing. My project here is a replication, a biodome that uses the same principles. Then came the build. We're talking about a glass and steel structure taller than my 2-story house. We had to excavate a massive section of the backyard, pour a huge foundation with integrated drainage, and then assemble this giant jigsaw puzzle of curved glass panels. The engineering was insane. It's not just a greenhouse, it's a structural ecosystem. We're talking about supporting the weight of soil, trees, and water features, while also being sealed to control the climate inside. The climate control system alone is a masterpiece. We have industrial-grade humidifiers to keep the humidity at a constant 80 to 90%, massive heating elements to maintain a tropical temperature even in the dead of winter, and a complex ventilation system to prevent it from getting stagnant. We installed a closed-loop water system that collects rainwater from the roof of my house, filters it, and then mists it throughout the dome to simulate rainfall. Twice a day, like clockwork, it rains in my living room. Or, well, the room next to my living room. Then came the soil. We couldn't just use bag potting mix. We had to create a living soil, full of the right microbes, fungi, and nutrients. We brought in tons of it. Then, the plants. This was the most emotional part. We worked with specialty nurseries that propagate rainforest plants ethically. We brought in towering tree ferns, a beautiful, slender canopy tree that won't break through the glass, philodendrons with leaves as big as I am. But the day we moved the final plant in and stepped back, I can't even describe the feeling. It was no longer a construction site. It was a place. A real, breathing, living place. The dream was real. The first week was pure magic. Waking up and having my coffee while watching the morning mist drift through the ferns was a spiritual experience. The air smelled different, clean, earthy, alive. The sound barrier between the dome and my house is pretty good, but I could still hear the gentle drip of water and the soft hum of the systems. It was like having a living piece of art. But then, the ecosystem started too. Well, live. First, it was the fungi. Mushrooms popped up everywhere. Beautiful, strange, and sometimes alarmingly fast-growing mushrooms. My biologist assured me this was a great sign. It meant the soil was healthy and the decomposition cycle was working. But let me tell you, seeing a bright orange mushroom the size of your hand that wasn't there yesterday is a little unsettling. Then came the insects. This was inevitable. With the plants came their passengers. Tiny little soil mites, springtails, and then the ants. I noticed a trail of them one day, a superhighway running from a fern pot towards the seal of the door into my main house. That was a full-blown, 5-alarm panic moment. We immediately called in the eco-pest control guy. Yes, that's a job, and he introduced a species of ant that is territorial and would outcompete the first ones, but wouldn't be interested in coming into my kitchen. But the most incredible uninvited guests were the frogs. One evening, I heard it. A soft, chirping sound. I grabbed a headlamp, crept into the dome, and there, sitting on a leaf, was a tiny, bright green tree frog. I have no idea how it got in. An egg on a plant, maybe? But it was here. And a week later, I heard another one answer. Now, I have a small population of them. They are the unofficial mascots of the dome. I've named the loudest one Kevin. This was the big lesson: you can't build an ecosystem and then try to control every single part of it. It has a mind of its own. It finds its own balance. My job wasn't to be a dictator, but a steward. A guardian.